Good evening, all.
Holy shit, how you doing, Pete?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
It's always with your greetings that you become just a complete and total Cybertronic man.
Is that something that consistently happens? Maybe that's why. Am I still a robot?
No, you're fine.
Okay, maybe that's why. Like, there's times I'll do my greetings and you'll just be like, "What? What has happened?"
Yeah,
and I'm
it's
just
always your
confused because I'm just very excited to be. I'm just excited to be doing some DnDTime Brews here tonight on DnDTime Brews with all of y'all,
with
lovely individuals.
Brews with yous. There we go.
That's our slogan that we've been saying every week.
Said every week.
Yep. I see we got a Luminaire on. Did I say Luminarion? I always say Luminarion.
Flannel Pug, Maxmeister, Psychopath. We got a whole bunch of people hanging out. I thought I saw
Forgotten one. I saw Shiva at some point. We got you already said Flannel Pug, I think. We got all kinds of people. Hi, yes, it is we.
How y'all doing, everyone? I hope everyone is well. I know, Pete, I'm actually doing okay. DnDTime is one of those times where it's like, I've been having like a really stressful day, but you know what? This is a good time. It's a relaxing time.
And hello back to Alex and Fox. I agree 100%, Jeremy.
Wait, I'm ready. Who's Alex and Fox?
all right, fair enough.
It's the best I could do today, guys. Sorry.
That's okay.
My creative juices are focused entirely on monsters.
Indeed. I got myself a beer here. I'm not going to
flavored beer.
Yes, it's a very regular sort of light beer. I don't even think it matters what brand it is. I'm not even going to say what brand it is. It's just a
it's
beer.
A mystery beer.
It's not even. It's just a trash beer.
Well, Pete, I have a delicious Sailor Jerry's Rum and Coke, which is pretty much my go-to drink. I need to get better at this, guys. Oh, no, we've ditched the calm, suave intro, Bionic Shiba. We're just bad at it. So, anyway, for those who are not familiar, I saw Kalar and 55 in chat as well. Hello, Kalar. For those unfamiliar with DnDTime Brews, it is a show where Pete and I sit down with you, the chat, and we brew up some cool homebrew content for use in DnDTime. Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime specifically, which is our kind of main show here on this channel. That show is every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific to 9 p.m. Eastern, where Pete and I run 3 roughly hour, sometimes longer, one-shot adventures. And today we're going to be making cool content. Pete, what are we working on today specifically that's different than any other day?
Specifically today, we're going to be homebrewing some monsters. Last week we did some that me and Jeremy came up with. We just threw a bunch of concepts out. You guys voted on them, and then we built a couple. And they came out pretty cool. We used Jeremy's excellent balancing tool in order to balance them. And today we're doing a similar thing. However, all of the monsters that we'll be creating were submitted by you, our viewers. So yeah, we got a lot of really cool stuff that you guys sent in, and we're excited to just go through. Today we just kind of we just picked some out essentially that we liked and we thought would work really well for what we're doing here. And we're just going to go through and brew a bunch of them. I see a few. I see a few people saying, "Show us the list."
Oh, go ahead.
There's a few people that want us to show us the list. Yeah, I mean, before the end of the show tonight, the monsters take a lot more time than the magic items. Likely, we won't get through nearly as many as we did with the magic items.
We're gonna try,
but we are. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do as many as we possibly can. But we're not going to, at the end of the thing, we're just going to go through and we'll just run through everything very quickly and just kind of mention everyone's ideas at the bare minimum so we can, so we can show everyone what everyone else made. It should be a lot of fun.
And Psychopath23 asking in chat, will we vote? The answer is not today. Today, we're just going to roll through the player-submitted concepts, and from there, we're going to talk about it with you guys in chat and, see what we can build. So I think without further ado, oh, by the way, obviously these monsters are not player options. These are different content that Pete and I will probably use throughout our adventures. Maybe not like in the next adventure, but like they'll come up. They will.
You may see some of these guys just show up. One monster
for
per
the most
person.
part, it's
If
one
we
monster.
have time, that is absolutely our goal, is to try and get through one per person. So hopefully, Luminarian, maybe we'll see.
Don't make Pete do this, Luminarian.
Once you awaken the beast.
Oh dear, we're not going to go through all of the little nuance that we did last time. But at the very end, we'll start going through with the balanced spreadsheet, the calculator, and start seeing where we kind of guesstimated with these guys. So it should be cool.
See how good we are.
We're not making the Pete monster, guys. All right, not opening that can of worms. Should we jump into our first concept, Pete?
Yeah, absolutely. Let us do that. So the first one that we're going to go over today was one submitted by the Flannel Pug. The first one we'll be looking at is the Gloaming Seeker. So let's talk a little bit first about what Flannel Pug's concept was. It was, for anyone unfamiliar with the Gloaming, so you understand the context of the lore here, the Gloaming is another name for a certain part of the Feywild in a lot of the D&D lore. Specifically, it is referring to the more kind of, and I'm going to use air quotes here because it's a little bit more complicated than that, but the more evil side of the Feywild, ruled over by the Dark Queen, the Queen of Air and Darkness, in the Feywild, also known as the Unseelie Court is another name for it, or the Gloaming Court. So this would be some kind of predator that stalks around the Gloaming Court, watches people in its territory, and using Flannel Pug's words, it uses their it uses their high intelligence to at first try and scare intruders away, and if they fail, they will rush the intruder, trying to tear it apart with both its fangs and its claws, or using fey magic to otherwise influence the intruder. And they appear as beasts with long forelegs, shorter hind legs, and are covered in fur and have animal-like heads. So that's the Gloaming Seeker. That is the monstration. That is the monster idea, and we both think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like this one because this one really felt like a legitimate D&D monster, right? It felt like something that you would find in like an old book, which I just thought was really cool.
I can for sure.
It gives us a lot of like liberty to work with some of these concepts. So, yeah.
Let's I guess in that case, let's just start making statements about this creature. For starters, it's a fey creature. That's something that was just specified in the description and in the little voting. You could all pick what type of creature you were making. We spoke about this a little bit before when we were going through, but we were thinking that this was a large creature, something kind of big, even though despite its size, it was still very stealthy. So we want to do a large fey.
Yeah, I think large works pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's a large fey creature, or it should be. Whoops, not large.
Yeah,
I switched the wrong part.
And then for alignment, they sound to me like they are either lawful or neutral evil, because they work for the Gloaming Court, which is kind of on an evil alignment, and they have very kind of specific rules they seem to work by. Like they attempt to ward things off, and then they, will hunt things down and tear them apart. It seems like there's definitely rules that govern its actions, which is why I think lawful evil. What do you think?
I don't know. It also could be we could go for like a lawful neutral kind of perspective too. I think would work well.
That's also a
because they aren't like immediately there to kill you, right? They will, but they don't. That's not their first shot.
Yeah, it's more of just an agent of something that is evil, which doesn't necessarily make it evil. I see what you're saying. Yeah, lawful neutral works for me.
And Flannel Pug, if you have any concept, or if anyone in chat has any ideas they want to chime in, please feel free. We are watching it like veritable bloodhawks.
We're watching it like Gloaming Seekers watch the Feywild.
All right, cool. So we'll say for now we'll call it lawful neutral. Alrighty.
Excellent.
So let's alignment is gloam. Kayla, I'm not sure if gloam is an alignment, but maybe. If we had to, if we didn't have to follow the horrible constraints of 5th edition's alignment system, it would be alignment gloam. Armor class. Armor class in this creature, I think we're going to be using a natural armor kind of thing. I think this creature is kind of has some like rougher skin, maybe. It's got
but
claws
not like
and fangs.
super.
Yeah, but not super rough either. So maybe like a 14 or 15.
The arbitrary number I was thinking was 15. So
yeah, so 15, pretty good number. Where that shows it's tough, but it's not like plate armor tough. It's just a naturally hard to kill thing. Let's see, hit points. We'll worry about that later. Speed.
Shiva says next D&D brews will be homebrewing alignments. That's funny.
Nice.
I imagine the Gloaming Seeker is faster than the average creature because it is kind of hunting things down. So I imagine it can run at you pretty good.
I'd say 40 feet.
40 feet works for me.
I don't think it can burrow. I don't think it can fly. I don't think it can swim. Can it climb? I think it can climb. I see this creature very at home in trees.
Yeah, I imagine this thing kind of stalking like those dark kind of winter forests and stuff that you'd expect to find in the Gloaming Courts.
So yeah, we'll say climb speed of 40 feet for now.
Great. I imagine strength is one of the stronger suits of this creature.
Is it more strong or more dexterous? I think it's strong and dexterous.
I think it's both. I think this thing is actually kind of good at everything.
Well, I think maybe it has some probably weaknesses in its charisma.
Charisma and wisdom maybe. It was specified that they're
very
they're high and intelligent. But they also have.
Sorry, go ahead.
But it was also magic user.
Yeah, so I think intelligence will be its spell casting for its magic, whatever it is. And if it's going to be naturally intelligent, that puts it in like the 15, 16 range. It's not like an Archmage level, but it's smart. For perspective, if you look at the Archmage stat block, you're going to be looking at intelligence of 20. So it's not quite there, I don't think.
But it's intelligent. It thinks. Yeah. How about we say 15?
We'll say 15 for now and maybe come back to it. Because I see its Fey magic is kind of secondary to its
rip you apart.
Yeah, exactly. Where it tries, but then if it fails, it's got a big, stronger backup. So I like that 15 int. That'll give it a +2. I think that'll be fine.
For strength, I imagine this is its more like I said, its strongest aspect. I'm thinking an 18 for strength.
Yeah, that could work. I'm thinking I think a killer whale is a 19, so it'd be just as strong as a killer whale at that level, which is why I was thinking more along the 17 range. 17 just felt right to me here.
That's fine. I'm not.
I was thinking like 17, and then maybe like a 15 or 16 dex.
You forgot and said it's an Adrenosloth, a giant sloth that is only lazy until it needs to slaughter you.
Jesus, I don't know if it's quite that. Let's see, what's its constitution? I imagine it's like not that tough, but it's like reasonably strong. Probably put it at like a 14 level.
Yeah.
Wisdom, I think that's its weak spot. Wisdom and charisma.
See, that also feels actually, you know what? I think it relies less on its natural perception and more on some other senses that it might have, which make up for, the kind of lower wisdom. So maybe wisdom is the low point.
Maybe it's got like an 8 and like a 7 respective on those two.
I can see that. -1, -2.
Yeah. Because I think it needs like a solid weakness. I don't want it to have just be best at everything.
Yeah, agreed.
But anyway, why do you know the strength of killer whales of all things off the top of your head? That's an excellent question, Bionic Sheba. Anyway, so saving throws. I don't think it's really proficient in a lot.
I'll say this, Sheba. I've used the killer whale stat block probably like 4 or 5 times over the course of my career and reskinned it to be different things.
Yeah, the killer whale is a pretty decent stat block to use for like a big hitting one
any big fish.
Boy. Oh, I mean, you can use it for a lot of things. It could be a slug. It could be whatever. Yeah. Anyway, saving throws. I think this creature is probably int Wiz Charisma. I think we're going to give this guy 3 saves. And I think he's just going to be proficient in all of those.
I'm fine with it. Sure. In Wiz Charisma it is.
That makes sense for fey creatures, at least to me.
What is the proficiency bonus that we're going to assume that this creature is at?
We'll figure that out in a minute. We'll come back to these guys. At least that was my thought.
Skills, stealth.
Oh yeah, stealth definitely. I think perception would be one.
Well, I was going to. So we kind of one of the things we know about the Gloaming Seeker is that they kind of move around their territory. I was going to say that they don't have a high perception, but how do you feel about giving them either a blind sight or a true sight or a tremor sense in their territory?
Yeah. What if they're blind?
Yeah.
What if they don't have eyes?
That sounds pretty radical to me. That sounds like some real.
I just like this idea.
That sounds like some real Feywild, some real Pan's Labyrinth shit.
So stealth for certain. I don't think they'd have anything else besides stealth. Would they even be stealthy?
Maybe. I think they're decidedly stealthy. Because they try and because they're trying to scare people away with noises and stuff, and that doesn't work as well if.
I think maybe deception.
Performance for imitating sounds, Forgotten says. That's not a bad idea. We also could just give them the mimicry trait like a Kenku has.
Yeah, I think we'd give them a feature rather than the performance skill. So I think right, we use deception. Well, deception is much more in a much more vocal kind of way. I think we just give them stealth and we call it there. At least for skills.
Yeah, that works for me. Vulnerabilities, resistances, and immunities.
I think we're zip across the board. Oh,
the only thing I would consider was what were you gonna say?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing I would consider is a resistance to non-magical. It seems like the kind of thing that was a servant of these kind of higher, more powerful Fae would have that resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, slashing.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
It's not an important thing. We don't.
I guess. What CR are we looking at? I guess is a question.
Yeah, see, maybe we're on a little bit different page for what we were imagining for a CR. But I was picturing these as being kind of like a bit of a higher challenge thing. I pictured these guys as being like maybe an 8.
Okay, then yeah, I think in that case we'd definitely be looking at that resistance. So let's undo that deletion here. And we can add in resistance to,
and not like an immunity, nothing that crazy.
Oh yeah. Oopsies.
Whoop.
And then condition immunities. It's immune to blindness because it's blind, right? That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Farfel says mimicry typically requires a skill check not to see through it, just typically a deception versus insight check. So maybe we can go back and give them deception at some point if we decide that that's the way we want to go.
I want to give them echolocation. I like that they click or make the sounds of creaking branches, and that's how they and that echoes throughout the forest, and that's how they know where things are. I don't know.
I think that's pretty cool. Well, I mean, why don't we just say that that's what they are and call it blind sight just for clarity? Because I think they would function the same way.
I mean, they function similarly. Well, no, they don't necessarily. It's a little different.
Because then we'd have to be building a whole sense for what the implications.
Well, no, that's a sense in the book.
Oh, is it really?
If you look at the bat, yeah, bats have echolocation, which actually echolocation is a feature, which it says, and I'll add it down here onto the features list. The bat can't use blind sight, so it's the seeker can't use its blind sight while deafened. That's what the feature says. So I guess you're right. It is in fact. Yeah, it is in fact blind sight. All right, so we give him blind sight instead of echolocation. Boop. And I
how
think
many feet?
We give it. Oh, that's a great question. I think we give it at least 60 feet, but then we maybe give it a thing where in its natural environment, right? It can see.
I would be inclined to say even something huge, it can see its territory, because I think that would be rad for the seeker to always know when you're in its zone. Yeah. So
instead of blind sight, so actually, let's just say senses.
So even.
So blind sight, and we'll just say 1,000 feet. and echolocation, and then we'll give it another feature, and we'll call this feature. What are we going to call it? Hey, Plunder,
like
good to see you.
Hey,
Territorial Defender, or maybe we get a better name than that, right? And it is the Seeker cannot use its blind sight while out of its, I guess, territory.
good enough.
Yeah, and then we have to define what its territory is. So, like, its territory would be Gloam Guardian. Oh, that's a great point, right? We're almost hitting that kind of perspective with it.
Is a Gloam Guardian a thing?
No, it's not. I don't think so. But Fox just suggested that's that's a good name for a name. That's way better than Territorial Defender. Oh God, I'm a dummy.
Okay,
thank you.
I was very confused as well. That was good.
Alex and Fox. All right, cool. So Gloam Guardian, but outside of its territory. So it's a very territorial creature, and I guess maybe outside of a forest in the Feywild, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like this, or maybe what would be better is outside of the territory of the Sealy Court or Unsealy Court, or what have you. We can come back to that though. I like that.
And I don't think we need to be like, super precise. Some of these things we can kind of clean up a little bit after.
And I think we'll give it perception just to counteract that wisdom a little bit. I'm going to go over to the monster balance calculator and look at what the proficiency bonus is for a challenge rating 8. It's going to be a +3. All right.
3, right?
Yep. So in that case, I'm going to go through and start giving it these extra bonuses. So it's going to have a +5 on its intelligence saving throw. Wisdom is going to be a +2. And charisma is going to be +1. All right. So at this point, we are mostly set. Its passive perception then would be set to a 12.
Could it have a lair, Xander asks, like
actually,
someplace assigned to it? Yeah, I imagine that's very much kind of the case, although I don't know if we want to go through and like design a full lair mechanic kind of thing for it. But
yeah, we'd be getting a little
I think it definitely will have a lair.
Interesting note for you all designing monsters out there. When you do so and you give a monster a skill proficiency, if you look at monsters that are in the Dungeon Master's Guide or the Player's Handbook or the Monster Manual, you'll find out that creatures that are proficient in a skill actually tend to have expertise in that skill. So if a monster, so they'll have their proficiency, and what that means is their proficiency bonus applies twice. That's not true for everything, but that is true for a lot of examples in the book where creatures actually have skills. So in this case, I think it's got expertise in its perception, which we just give it a 15. We're going to add that +3 for proficiency on a second time. And that helps to kind of counteract the passive perception. So at this point, we've got its 2 features down. It's got its echolocation and its Gloam Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe...
and we need to do something for the I was thinking the mimicry thing.
Oh, yeah. I think we give it like a weakened version of mimicry. So like a Kenku, its deal is it can mimic any sound it has heard. In this case, we say Fey mimicry. The Seeker can
actually
maybe mimic any sound that
let me throw this. I was going to say, let me throw this out as an alternative to the mimicry, rather than giving it the Fey mimicry and making it a kind of a more intricate feature. Sure. The kind of purpose of it is fear. So maybe it's a fear with a lot of range, sort of more like a frightening presence or something like that, where it lets out some kind of Fey roar or whatever the sound is that it makes to scare you away. And
you know what I love?
It just applies like the frightened condition, making people want to leave.
I super dig. So I don't think this thing has bonus action, or actually, I don't think it has bonus actions. I don't think it has legendary actions or layer actions or reactions, so we don't need any of these. Oh god.
Nor I on any of
Yeah.
those.
Don't need any of these sections. But yeah, let's make that an ability it has, and we'll add it to like its multi-attack. So the Gloaming Seeker makes 2 attacks. Makes 2 attacks. One but the claws makes 2 attacks and uses its frightening
I can grab the exact text for you there from the dragon
feature, and maybe not its presence, but
yeah. Well, we'll change the name to fit it a little bit more. Yeah. What do you guys think would be a good name for an ability which fears things away?
I can't really think of anything yet. Minor illusion. That's not a terrible one. Yeah, Plunder, you got a lot of boss battles in DnDTime to hold up. So I'm gonna start putting in that ability down here. I'm gonna call it whatever ability.
And how do we want this to work? Do we want the range to be longer so it doesn't have to get, or actually maybe it doesn't actually have to be that long?
Make it its range.
Oh, the range of the blind sight?
Yeah. Maybe we don't make it 1,000 feet. Maybe we make it like 300 feet instead of 1,000. But like, it's huge. You can see forever.
Yeah.
A creature that there's got to be actual text for that.
We could probably just say may target a creature it can see.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's actual text. That the seeker can see must succeed on a DC. And then we look at intelligence, which is 2. So it's going to be the DC for spell saves are going to be 8 plus its modifier, which is 2, plus its proficiency bonus, which is 3. So in that case, we're going to look at a 13. 13. Wisdom saving throw or become frightened of the
some ideas we're having for name and chat. We have Max Meister with Frightful Gaze. We have Farfel with Frightful Presence. We have, which is the standard. D Forgotten says Despair of the Gloam. Xandril says Lurker in the Dark for the fear. We have Hunter's Gaze from Bionic Shiva. Frightful Echoes from Farfel. I kind of like Frightful Echoes.
I like Frightful Echoes a ton.
I do too.
So yeah, see, you're immune to
rather than a creature that the seeker can see, how about a creature that can hear the seeker?
Oh, and is it a or each creature that can hear the seeker?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Can hear seeker, and you can delete that can. Must succeed on a DC 13 Wisdom saving or be frightened until the end of its next turn. Is that next turn? Or should that be?
It's a save ends is the standard.
Okay. Or become frightened of the seeker. If the seeker cannot be seen, the creature is paralyzed in... not paralyzed. That's dumb. So we need some kind of idea for like what happens if they can't see it, because the fear effect, the fear condition requires you to see the cause of it.
A creature, I think we just need to say something like a creature frightened this way will spend its turn. A creature frightened this way will spend its turns attempting to exit the area that is this thing's territory.
There we go. A creature frightened in this way.
Yeah, it's exactly. We're on the same page, Shiva. Make it try to leave its territory. Because this isn't something that... and maybe this isn't part of its multi-attack. Because I don't think this is something it's using in combat. If it's made the decision to fight, I think it's fighting. Then this is like its first thing that it'll do before. And I also like it creates this dynamic where somebody who isn't kind of frightened, their allies start running, and then all of a sudden they're isolated.
And then they get ambushed. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, so I'm going to take away it uses its frightened presence from the multi-attack.
Yeah, it makes 2 attack. So it makes 2 attacks, one with its bite and one with its claws. Bite we're going to look at in a very similar way to how we did the spell save DC. It's going to be 3, its attack bonus plus efficiency bonus. It's going to be 3. It's going to have a +6 to hit. Nice and straightforward. Oh, yeah, that's correct. And its claws are probably going to be very simple because it doesn't have like magic claws.
Reach of 5 feet. And how much damage you want to do?
Because it's bigger.
Maybe I think 10 foot for the claws, but not for the bite.
Sure.
You seem
I'm down with that.
Reticent. Oh, okay.
No, I like that. So we get 10 foot on the claws because I guess it's got like longer arm, maybe.
So the bite's generally speaking, the bite is usually a higher damaging ability, and the claws are usually, well, actually the claws are usually higher damaging, but it's 2 of something, and the bite's the bigger dice.
Yeah, I think maybe it makes 3 attacks, 1 with each claw and 1 with the bite.
And 2 with its claws. All right.
Yeah. Because it's got 2 claws, it's got its bite. I like that. Seeker is, I think it's immune to, so ignores the effects of difficult terrain. The effect of non-magical difficult terrain while within its territory. So we have this very ambiguous term, territory, and 5th edition loves this very ambiguous terms that don't have a definition, where it's up to you as a dungeon master to decide what this creature's territory is. And I think that's fine. It's just cool. So,
yep.
We've pegged this guy at CR8. How much damage must his claws do? So they're going to do 2 dies worth of damage, both with claws and his bite, because he's a large creature. So we're scaling up from... oh, my hair is popping off crazy.
I think we use a D12 for the bite and a D8 for the claws.
It's a terrifying bite. Holy shit. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big...
+3 for its strength. And +3 for its strength.
It's to hit is low, which is why I'm thinking it's...
This guy might be a little weak for CR8, but we'll see. Claws are going to do slashing, bite will do piercing.
I would be kind of down if... I know we originally said 17, but how do you feel about buffing up that to hit 1 more? Just because he feels a little under where he should be.
Put him at like a 19 strength, make him real fucking strong. I'm okay with that.
Cool. I'm going to change those to 7s.
Cool.
And change that damage to a +4. And make that piercing damage on his claws that bite. Wait, I messed it up so bad.
Okay,
his jaws that bite.
And his claws, that catch. But his claws don't catch. What's the average damage here? It's going to be 9 + 4, 13, and 14, 18, 17. All right.
Farfel asks... Farfel asks recharge ability on the Frightful Echoes, I assume. I don't think it's necessary, because once you've succeeded on it, it can no longer affect you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we need a save, a recharge on that necessarily. Alternatively, we could get rid of that part. I actually kind of like that idea. I don't know. No, I think it's fine the way it is.
Yeah, I think it might end up feeling a little bit oppressive if it has that.
Yeah, so I think we leave him as we have him right now. So his
and I think that's
damage
dumb
per
monster.
round is going to be looking at 30, 43 damage per round. For CR8 creature, that's a little low. That's okay though.
Pick languages.
I don't know what language is Fey creature. Holy crap, guys! I've been stumped on a creature.
Sylvan.
Oh yeah, they speak Sylvan. I don't think it can speak. I think it understands Sylvan, but cannot speak it.
Understands.
I got the text for you. I'm going to paste it.
Great.
All right, and we don't need to capitalize anything there. Perfect. So we've got our creature. More or less, I think he's in a pretty good spot.
And we got to give those bonuses to abilities. We got to give it health. Probably in the...
Oh yeah, shit! It should have its bonuses. To these. So it's gonna be
probably
plus.
High 90s. Do you want to do the expertise?
5. Yeah, I think for perception and Do we need the deception anymore? Because we gave it a frightful echoes. So I don't think we need the deception. And yeah, I think it's got expertise in its stealth. So it's going to be 2 plus 3 plus 3.
Psychopath has spell like Hunter's Mark or Mind Spike to track people.
Ooh,
maybe
that would be a cool idea if we wanted to bump this guy's damage up. I think where it stands right now, even if we put this thing at like 100 and like pick a number for its health. I've got a number in mind.
How about 113?
Oh, that's way lower than I was going to say. I was going to say 143.
How about 131?
All right. I think we're probably going to be looking at something closer to like a CR 5 or 6 with this, but maybe I'm wrong. Those plus to hits are okay, and that D12 damage die is nice.
Yeah, that's a big beefy damage, and I think it some of the extra CR is going to come from it's going to come from that potential to single targets out using its frightful echoes, because the frightful echoes is pretty brutal.
But the DC is fairly low, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Cool. So overall, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this, and just got like, we'll figure out the hit die later on. That's not a problem. But for now, cool. We got our Gloaming Seeker. We guessed CR8. I think we're looking at more. Our final guess for CR. What you thinking, Pete?
I think
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be 6.
That's the number I was gonna say for the bot. But I think it's better than 6.
I don't think.
But I think the bot will. I would put him at a 7, but I think the bot will say 6.
Okay, so we'll put 6 to 7, and 7 was Pete, and I said so. Guys, at the end when we go and do the CRs here, remember who picked 6. It was me.
Let's move on.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was seeing Farful. You saying not having the recharge on its frightful presence, but on a different thing. I think giving this a spell Hunter's Mark would be like a cool addition.
I think it would feel cool, but just I think mostly for the sake of moving on, since we have a lot of monsters to get through.
Yeah, we got a lot of beasties to go through.
I would like to leave it here personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with this overall. It's I think it does what we were going for.
Let me get our text for our next one on the subject of.
Yeah, let's scroll on down to the next creature we picked out, the Living Doodle. The Living Doodle. I recognize this reference, and I hope more of you do. Anyway, that was my terrible attempt to do Doodle Bob from SpongeBob, but that's what I think we got here with the Living Doodle, submitted by Bionic Shiva.
Can you get me a space at the top of this, Jeremy, so I can paste that in?
I can do anything.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's the Living Doodle.
Oh, undo.
Oh, Pete.
Paste with formatting.
There we go. Good work.
Hey.
A magical doodle created by a powerful wizard. It is their best and worst creation that they have ever made. Gaining sentience, the doodle now rampages all who enter its workshop with its giant pencil. 2 main features: redraw. The doodle is not restrained, disarmed, or incapacitated. It can use its pencil to redraw missing limbs. And erase, probably on a recharge, where it can use its giant eraser to erase non-magical items, weapons, or armor. Exactly, Farful. Exactly. Yeah. Well, welcome to Dungeons and Dragons, the land of we steal everything, because that's just how Dungeons and Dragons works. All the ideas that are in D&D came from something else.
And we got right here. We got a medium aberration. Excellent. I agree with medium, and it is decidedly aberrant. Yep. Chaotic evil. Also agree with that.
So it's armor class. I think the Living Doodle probably has a terrible armor class. I think it's going to just be based on its dexterity, which I think will be low. So I'm going to give it 11.
I was thinking a high armor class and a low hit point because it's 2-dimensional, and it's hard to hit a 2-dimensional thing. Is it 2-dimensional?
I don't know if it's 2-dimensional. We don't know, man.
Is it 2-dimensional? Yeah, Shiva, tell it. In my brain
doodle.
It was.
I think it's even worse 3D.
Is it a 3D doodle or a 2D doodle?
We don't know.
Felt very good to say. I recommend everyone at home right now saying 2D doodle.
2D doodle. Let's see. I don't think it has a burrow speed, a fly speed, or a swim speed.
I agree.
Probably 2D and made of paper. 2.5D doodle. Oh Christ! The forgotten one. I don't think it's a 2.5D doodle.
It's a It's a half a D.
Farfel, it does feel good. Tootie doodle.
Tootie doodle.
Anyway, we'll come back to armor class since we're a little conflicted. What kind of challenge are we
30?
looking at? Let's figure out our CR.
30 feet speed?
Yeah, 30 feet. Very normal speed for a creature like that.
CR? Lowish. 4?
I think it's
5?
like a 3 or 4.
Yeah, 4. Let's shoot for 4.
Sure. So 4, that's going to give it a proficiency bonus of +2. So we got to remember to stick to that when we're designing. I don't think it's proficient in any saving throws. However, I think it might have magic resistance, which is terrifying.
Sure. Let's do it.
Actually, how intelligent is this creature?
I imagine it's very. I'm thinking that it would be very animalistic. It just has one thing it knows to do. It's just drawing stuff. It understands drawing, but it doesn't quite know what it's doing.
If this were a smart creature, and part of the reason I love this idea, right, is it would make a really cool setting, right, for D&D time of these different creatures that draw themselves or draw things. Because I could see a creature that's very smart that just draws its own armor or something like that.
I could see maybe a living doodle in parentheses captain or little living doodle artist or something like that.
So it's got none. It's not intelligent. It's got no languages at least. And I don't think it understands any languages.
Yeah, I just think I think it's a dash on languages.
Oh yeah, that should be a dash, not a boop. I don't have the EM dash ready today, folks. I'm so sorry. Just kidding. I definitely.
So int Luminarion threw out 5. How do you feel about 5?
I like 5. If we're not going to have it be intelligent, I want to have it be dumb as bricks.
Yeah, so it's got that animal intelligence. It knows how to exist, but
not much better than wisdom. I don't think it's super wise either, but I think it's more. No, I think it's up there on the 3 range.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, actually, I can see that. I can imagine. At first, I was thinking average, and charisma. I think it's also in the 3 range.
Yeah, it's just also got a 3, which we're looking at another -4. This thing is particularly vulnerable to spellcasting, which is unfortunate. However, I think let's talk about its constitution, its dexterity, its strength. I think it's super dexterous. I think this creature is what I'm thinking too. So I think we have this a 19, despite its
oh yeah,
it's just so quick. It's got a +4. It's very fast. I think strength it's 10. I think it's super con.
10 works. Con, I also can kind of feel a 10.
Yeah, I'm as well.
Wait, want to do 11 for style?
Yeah, absolutely. So between the 10 and 11, you can literally just do whatever you want because it doesn't matter. So we're going with 11 for style. Lots of odd numbers, but one even number to really flesh it out.
Anti-magic susceptibility, says Psychopath. I can kind of see that. I don't know if we want to do it. I don't know if we want it, but I do think it would make sense.
The thing about anti-magic susceptibility is there are only a handful of creatures that have it, and they're all animated objects.
That's what I was about to say, is the difference we would be kind of making Living Doodle a construct if we did that. Yeah,
I don't think he's susceptible to anti-magic in this situation. Yeah, exactly, Psychopath, like animated armor. I just don't think Living Doodle has that. In fact, maybe he's vulnerable to fire because he's made of paper.
I like that. I like that for sure.
So I think he's vulnerable to fire, and that's a big vulnerability. And he's got damage resistance, and he's got he doesn't have any resistances or immunities, I don't think. Maybe he's vulnerable to slashing too.
How would you feel about for his kind of 2D for his 2D nature? I feel like he should get a bonus to armor class depending on what direction you're attacking him from.
That's way too complicated. Absolutely not.
Oh my god, Jeremy! But imagine him just sliding into a wall. That he's immortal.
Oh, it doesn't hold up well in water either. Ooh, maybe she's vulnerable to cold.
Fire and cold. Well, cold doesn't feel like water to me, though. It's the
Yeah, water's
closest thing.
weird.
Um,
I think it's
Vulnerable
just
to
fire.
slashing, Swordco here says.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I even like that more than fire.
I like both. Just give him
wanna
some
do fire and
serious
slashing?
vulnerabilities. Yeah. So damage resistance, I think we're good. I don't think he has any resistances. I don't think he has any immunities. Actually, I think he's got a shitload of immunity. I think he's immune to most conditions.
I think he's, I think he's too
Like,
dumb to be feared or charmed.
yeah, I mean, blind. He can't be blinded. He can't be charmed, deafened, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, or poisoned. I don't think. I think he's just immune.
I don't know. I think you can poison him.
Can you? He's made of paper.
I think he's made of a paper-like substance.
He's
'Cause
2D.
he's an aberration. He's an aberration.
He's 2D.
Yeah, paper isn't 2D. Paper is 3D.
I don't think he can be poisoned. I didn't make it. Chat, are you with me? Can he be poisoned?
I imagine the poison just or for the same reason blinding him is just it just appears as like an ink blot on his face.
Oh, I got a suggestion from Farfel in the chat. Give him the vulnerability to water from what the fire elemental has, which is called water susceptibility.
That's a wordy ability, though.
Well, it's actually not too bad. It's
like she says, no circulatory system can't poison him. The Shiba has spoken.
Immune to poison, guys.
Very well.
Obvi. For every 5 feet, the doodle moves in water, or for every gallon splashed on it, it takes a cold damage. I like that. Makes sense to me. A nice, straightforward thing for the doodle. I love this doodle so far, guys. What kind of actions? So this guy, his key thing, he's got a couple actions. He's got erase and draw. So what? Oh, I almost jumped to the next guy. So I don't think he can use draw and erase in the same turn.
Well, I was gonna say redraw, mostly because Shiba put a couple of features originally in the thing. One redraw if he's not restrained, disarmed, or incapacitated, it can use its giant pencil to draw new or missing limbs for itself. I think that's something we could put in the feature section and just say that that's something like he can just do when he's not like fighting. Because it doesn't seem like.
Oh, you know what I like? Okay, here we go. Hit me. Let me hit you with this. Instead of redraw, we just call it draw. Let me just quickly jump a page here so that we don't have the next creature showing up. Oh, I messed that up, guys. Sorry about that. So.
But Sheep says, I was thinking like a troll passive heal kind of thing. Just at the end of its turn, it draws. Okay, so.
Oh, I see what you were saying.
We could even make it work like a regenerate then, if we want to do it that way.
What I was thinking, rather than regenerate, is that as part of its multi-attack, it draws an extra arm and then attacks with all its arms, and it regains some hit points. So to make up for the fact that it's vulnerable to the 2 most common damage types in the game, it becomes a little stronger every round. It's vulnerable to hell, to magic. It's so vulnerable to magic.
Does it have a
So actually,
I mean, does it have a mechanic by which it loses its arms?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We'll just steal that from like the Hydra. Steal the text from the Hydra. So if the doodle, yeah, I can throw that on there.
I got that one. You keep writing the thing you're doing.
So yeah, it's whenever it takes X amount of damage. The doodle makes a number of attacks equal. I think that feature would show up in its features, Pete.
Yeah, I got it already.
Its limbs starts with 4. Or actually, what's the text for the Hydra? So the doodle makes as many Whack. Oh, erase. I see. Oh, here we go. Erase attacks. As it has limbs. I love this idea. So then we have you're putting its draw / multiple arms feature in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the erase feature here. And this will give it a plus to hit. It's going to have a +6 to hit, so terrifyingly high to hit for its CR. Reach is going to be 5 feet. One target. I think it only does like a D4 of damage because it's an eraser.
Oh, the erase move?
Yeah.
Sure.
So we're going to have it's going to do 6 damage on average. It's going to do, I guess, bludgeoning.
Yeah, bludgeoning.
Okay. Bludgeoning damage. And then does the rust monster have some cool text for destroying armor? Because I think it does.
And actually, as one more thing, since we're really kind of leaning into this multiple arms thing as being major point of its feature, why don't we let the creature choose what type of damage it does with its arms? Because the idea is it's drawing different things in its hands and stuff like that.
Oh, I love that idea. So we'll just call it damage.
Or for the eraser, probably the bludgeoning damage, because it's hitting the eraser, but then for the regular limbs.
Oh, I was going to say it's used its erase attack a bunch of times.
Oh, you're just going to hit it with its erase over and over again? I see. I pictured the erase thing as it being its pencil doing a thing, and then the other arms do other stuff.
Oh, okay. So maybe it makes an erase attack. So makes one erase attack and as many. What do we call the next attack?
Limb, arm.
As many
attack.
as many drawn attacks as it has, or arm. Okay. Cool. So, and then we'll say drawn, a drawn attack, or drawn arms, and we'll give that the same melee attack. Oh, actually, let me. So for the rust monster, it has rust metal. For this thing, it's got erase. After dealing damage. When the doodle deals damage to a weapon or armor. Sorry. It deals damage to a creature. That creature's armor takes a permanent and cumulative -1 penalty. Or actually, that I took the wrong text out of there. Let's get rid of that. Actually,
I think we can just put it on the erase ability itself.
Yeah, that's what I should do. That's what the rust monster did. I'm dumb.
And I don't. Shiba. Part of the original vision, I think, wasn't that it was like a reduce over time. I think it was just a hard. It just gets it, which I'm kind of into. I mean, it's brutal, but I would assume it would only apply to basic equipment. Also, I put a cap of 8 arms, so that way a mean DM using this thing wouldn't just have one show up with a
bajillion arms. Well, that would just change what its CR is. So let me just give it its multi-attack here. And I think those also just do a D4 damage. Nice and simple. Whoops. When the doodle hits with this attack, the target must succeed on a DC, and then we give it a DC. DC is going to be based on probably its dexterity. It's going to be an 8 + 2 + 4. It's going to be 14, which is really high. Whew.
Yeah.
Dexterity. This guy's going to be actually really scary. Saving throw. What are you doing, Pete? I'm writing. I'm the one doodling
I was,
here.
I was fixing that D.
Oh, okay. That's fair. To avoid the eraser's touch. And then this is weird. We actually have a second paragraph. If the creature is wearing any armor. So I think because it's a DC 14, and that's pretty scary.
And it's spooky.
Yeah, Luminarian in chat. That's scary, Sheba. I would cry. And it's just. Yeah, right. It is scary.
The psychopath says
It's
on a crit 1, hits self with eraser and dies.
So yeah, if the creature running and that creature is touched by the eraser. So instead of any armor, non-magical armor, the creature is touched by the eraser. That armor, this is brutal. Takes a permanent and cumulative minus penalty armor class it off. Cool. Permanent cumulative minus 1 penalties the armor class it offers. Armor reduced to 0 or shield that drops to 0 bonus is destroyed. All right. I like this. This is brutal.
I like it as well. But I feel like it
can't destroy non-magic. It can't destroy magical stuff. From everything from the bag is good.
Yes.
With a few very rare exceptions. There are a couple of non-magical things in the bag, but they're very few and far between.
Yeah. And we got to decide how much damage it takes, and armor class and stuff like that.
Well, it takes 1 point of cold damage. We just give it the same feature. Made of paper.
No, I mean for the multiple, how much damage it takes to knock off an arm.
Oh, well, that's actually a pretty easy thing to kind of compare. So if you look at the Hydra, right? The Hydra has approximately 172 hit points. And
they have it at 25.
And they have it at 25. So that's going to be.
But it's also a lot more condition.
1/7. Now, it also has a much higher armor class than I think we're giving the Living Doodle.
Well, and the multiple arms, let me change that name from multiple arms to redraw. The redraw is less conditional, though. It just draws an arm every turn, so I think it's going to be lower.
Yeah, so maybe we make it like in a single turn. I think 15 is a good number.
How big are we going on hit points for this guy? Because I would be inclined to
for CR4. This guy's real scary, and the thing is, he ramps up over time. I don't know if I were to guess like a good CR4 kind of monster here. I'd say somewhere in like the 60 range.
Yeah, I think that works for me. What I think might be a little bit more exciting is rather than have it be 15 or more damage, I would say we just make it every time he takes damage, he loses a limb, and then maybe have him draw 2 limbs.
The reason I don't like that is spells like Magic Missile just completely defeat this creature, like absolutely crush it into the ground. And don't get me wrong, there are some spells that are very effective against this guy. But
I mean, he does also just die to
damage. He dies to a
lot
lot of stuff. He's not a very strong creature, to be honest. 60 might even be low for his hit point. Maybe he should be closer to
I imagine he's relatively flimsy.
So I think he regains like 10 hit points at the start of a turn, and it's 15 damage to knock off.
I don't know. 15 just seems a little. 15 seems a little high to me. I guess it would take you specifically using one of the damage vulnerabilities to do it, which is, I suppose, fine. For the sake of moving on, I think it's fine.
Yeah, my concern is just, and this happens with the Hydra a lot, I notice, creatures end up with like 0 HP. I mean, not 0 HP, like 0 limbs, and then it's just like, well, I think we give this guy 80 health. I think Luminarian's right. His vulnerabilities are pretty severe.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll come back to him and see where he's at the end. Cool. So there's another one down. I like this. I don't think his damage is actually all that high. We might even have to buff this guy more to keep him at CR4 when we get around to looking at him, but I'm okay with him right now. Should we jump down to the next creature? Or do we want to take a break and refresh our drinks really quick?
I would be down to just jump into the next one. I'm pretty good unless you need a break.
No, I think I can do it, Pete.
All right.
Super vulnerable to everything, but don't you dare get hit. Exactly, Bionic Sheba, precisely.
All right.
And Luminarian asking again if erase an item from the bag, is it gone forever? No, Luminarian. Bag items are all magical, so they are immune to his eraser.
Unless it specifically says
they're all magical.
I think most of the bag items, unless it kind of specifically says otherwise on the item, function a lot like characters in DnDTime, where if you lose them in the adventure, you get them back.
Yeah, precisely. Whoops. All right, so coming down to our next creature, the Collector.
Well, I was going to say, this one was done by Farku. But if Farku is not here, I would like to build one on stream with someone that's chilling in chat, because I haven't seen Farku around.
Let's see. Let me at Farku. Yeah, Farku is not here right now, so we'll jump on to the next one, and if Farku shows up, we'll come back to this guy.
Cool. In that case, we're gonna be doing the Humbling.
The Humbling. Let me. Oops. There we go, Pete. I got you a space to paste in the. Oh, you already had a space there.
I am grabbing it right now.
All right, the Humbling, submitted by Psychopath23, another little Fae. I love this guy. He's a ton of fun. So Pete's about to. Whoop, there we go. The Humbling, a tiny hummingbird like humanoid that can fly fairly quickly, making them hard to hit. They're able to draw out magic from the Fae realm and throw it at creatures within 30 feet. That creature is affected by wild magic. They're fairly peaceful creatures unless provoked. I love this buddy. And part of the reason I dig this so much is it's fun. It has that Fae whimsy that can get lost a lot of the time. I think this is absolutely, in fact, I see you in the chat there. Let us know if we've misinterpreted anything here, but I'm pretty sure you're talking about a little chaotic neutral, tiny little buzzy boy, kind of a weird bird mix kind of hybrid deal. I find that
it's just a very Fae-looking hummingbird. Yeah, that sounds very correct to me.
Creature.
So armor class.
We'll come back to armor class last.
Well, I think this is very clear, Jeremy. I think the armor class is extremely high and the hit points are extremely low.
Well, but I think the armor class is going to be based on its dex modifier, right?
Which I would probably give it a dex of maybe like
a 22. Yeah, I think
even a
slightly
20,
higher than a pixie
24.
Or something. I don't think 24. At 24, we're getting a little too high. But I like 22.
Sure.
I think 22 is good.
Armor class in that case of 16.
Yep. Well, do we want it to have 16 or do we want it to? Oh, whoopsies.
Yeah, plus 16 to dex.
Some other feature that also buffs its armor class.
I would be more inclined to give it a feature that is unrelated defensive than just buff its armor class, if we're going to go that route.
Because it can fly too, so that's a big deal.
Let's pick a speed for it.
I think this thing flies 60 feet.
Yep, I don't think it has even a ground speed.
Yeah. I don't think it can walk. I think it just flies. Or no, let's give it like a 5-foot walking speed, so it can like hop around.
But hummingbirds, aren't they unable to stop flying?
Yeah, but I don't know. I like this. I'm giving it the avoidance feature. You can see down here. Feature hallmarked on the Demi-Lich. And what the avoidance says is it is a amped up version of evasion, which is a rogue class feature. And what avoidance says is if this creature would succeed on a saving throw against a spell that would deal half damage, instead it just do nothing. So yeah, Pete, they gotta sleep at some point. I think it can walk just very slow. Let's look at his other spells. I think its strength is like a 3. This thing is not very
Constitution
strong.
5, 4?
I give it a 7.
Any reason for the increase?
I think it's just not. I think it's weak.
I picture it's got those bird glass bones, like you just hit it and it's just done. Those hollow bones.
Sure. I mean, we can work it either way. That's still like a 7 is like a normal human with a 7 constitution is dead. They died of their like leukemia when they were 4. You know,
I think that's a little strong for 7, but fair enough.
Dude, they got a -2 to their roll. They level up one time and they die. They're close to death.
Rules is written. You're not allowed to lose hit points on a level up.
That's false, actually.
No, that's actually true.
That's bullshit. Rules is written incorrect. Rules is intended different.
Khan the Leper was actually misplayed, according to Jeremy
I think
Crawford.
That's bullshit. Jeremy Crawford, that's not rules is written. That's rules is intended. Don't you misguide Pete.
Anyway. It is true. We can argue about this later.
Charisma. I think this thing has a high charisma. Because he's just a happy little burb.
Animal intelligence 5, 6.
Yeah.
Maybe a little smarter because it.
I don't know.
I think it's constantly
like
making chaos.
I think this is like.
What do you think? What do you think, Psychopath? How smart did you imagine this creature?
I think they're smarter than that. I think these guys have like like an 11, maybe like a 12 or 13 wisdom, and then they're actually pretty charismatic.
11, yeah, 13, with you on the charisma for sure.
I see Psychopath has posted a little picture of what they intend. Oh, that's
Luminarian says 11.
Yeah, I think these guys are pretty good in their mental stat.
Oh.
They can read and talk. Yeah, no. That's definitely an 11. And then I think we give them like a 12 here, and then they got their plus. How do you think about this? This seems pretty good.
Yeah, I was picturing more of an animal than like a sentient.
These are tricksters. And I see these tricksters probably having proficiency in wisdom, but nothing else.
That's I think fine. Yeah.
Obviously, these guys are going to be low CR, so they're going to have a +2 proficiency bonus. Not super high. Skills, stealth, deception, maybe insight?
Insight. What do you think insight?
A lot of these little fey creatures can they have this uncanny sense, but I think, I think we give them just a stealth for now. What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about either way.
Luminarian, so I guess the Humbling will attack in swarms since they are so weak. I don't think the Humblings attack. I think the Humblings
just friends.
Yeah, I think they're just goofy. They're just goofy little guys. Vulnerabilities, resistances, and immunities. I think none on all. You agree?
Oh, just saying. I think they got sleight of hand. I think they definitely steal things, and I don't think they're expert stealers. Is it? Well, sleight of hand. There's an E in there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, okay. Me. No, yeah, nothing. We scared of all that.
Great. Condition immunities, I also think probably
nothing. Even though they're fake creatures, I don't think they're immune to anything in particular. Let's see. Do they speak common? I know they speak Sylvan.
Sylvan.
Common. We'll give them common.
It doesn't make much difference. Yeah.
Passive perception will be a 11. They're not super perceptive.
Maybe they cause trouble because they like to steal things by cutting bands with their little noses. Just
That's just so cute.
I guess it's not that cute, but it sounds cute.
It's cute to me. I think these guys are going to be somewhere around CR like 1/2. I don't think they're going to be 2.
I was going to say lower. Yeah.
There's not much lower than 1/2.
Yeah,
their AC of 16, I think alone is going to give them a little bit better than that.
Well, I guess I just didn't imagine them really having an attack. So if we're going to give them some kind of more aggressive move, then fair.
Well, they don't have any of these features. They don't have actions, reactions, or anything. But I don't think they have weapons. I think they have.
Well, they have the core feature that I think defined them by Psychopath description there, which is the ability to draw out magic from the Fey realm and throw it at a creature within 30 feet, and that creature becomes affected by wild magic. Yeah, Mischief, great name for it.
Instead of Fey magic, it's wild magic from the Feywild. Capitalize Feywild. A creature of its choice within 30 feet of must succeed on a DC. What do we say the DC? Actually, let's look at this charisma.
Actually, I don't even know if this has a DC. I think.
Oh god!
I was gonna say, I think it's just like it just creates a wild surge.
A wild magic surge. All right.
And and yeah, actually, maybe I was gonna say maybe the effect of the surge should have a DC.
Yeah, if the surge causes a harmful effect that affects DC 12. God damn it! I used the wrong effect. Oh no! Wait.
Yeah, that's the wrong effect.
Wait.
It's the E-boy.
Yeah. Okay. Effect, affect. Affect is the I am affecting it. Effect is it is an effect. All right, cool.
It just thinks it's wrong.
It's just Google. You're just being dumb.
Google don't know no grammar.
Cool. So I'll just say the DC is 12. And then that
Plunder
makes me happy because we don't
almost
have the
60. So many points, Plunder.
Yeah, Plunder. Holy crap! You're getting a lot of points, boy. So I like this. I don't like the idea of it having literally no attack.
Give it a beak. Give it a beak move. Like
I like
Sandra was
that
talking
like
about
it's
before, cutting
mischief does
purses.
like 1 point of damage or something.
I mean, I feel like its mischief is
like,
oftentimes going to do more than 1 point of damage.
I feel like more often than not, it's not going to do any.
It could go either way. Why don't we just give him a beak attack?
Let's give him a beak. Beak. And I got rid of the template, so I'm going to go down to here and steal the template from our next creature. No one look at the name. Melee one attack. It's got a dexterity, so it's actually really high to hit. +8 to hit for the CR. Obviously 5 feet.
And I think the damage is 7 damage.
Yeah, it just does 1 plus its dex modifier. It just is piercing, so it actually hits pretty hard. And very consistently. I think this thing's actually pretty good. Let's see what its health is going to be. It's got a -2 con.
I was kind of honestly imagining this being much like the Pixie in having like 1, maybe 2 health. Or maybe, it's a D4, so maybe like 3d4 if we want to make it a little bit.
If it's a D4 -2, we're averaging at 1 health. So it's got to be.
I'm picturing a 3d4 and then it has a health of 4.
It's got. Yeah. I think it's got. Oh, it's got 4. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can rationalize that. But actually, technically, 3d4 is 2.5, 7.5 -6, so it's got 1.5 health by this average. I think we say 2 health.
Varvel says it's tiny. How's it going to stand 5 feet away and hit something with its beak?
Oh, that's a great point. We should make it 0.
Is that actually a standard thing?
Yeah,
it's something I've never noticed before.
So, like, if you look at a bat actually, no, a bat has a range of 5 feet with its bite, so give it 5 feet. It's just dumb how D&D works, Farfel. Just you have to get used to the dumbness sometimes.
So sometimes you got to.
So I'm pretty happy with this. I super love this cute little guy.
Oh, will it be 3 at least, right?
No, because the average of a D4 is 2.5. So that's 7.5 -6. So it actually is an average of 1.5 health.
Oh, but I was saying because minimum 1 health.
Oh, you were saying it can't be subtracted. Right. I hate that rule. Yeah. That's dumb. Yeah, okay, it's got 3 health. So, I like this guy. I'm really happy with this little homeling. He's a friend.
Guy. Quick little one. Like him, cut it, print it, call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, Psychopath, that's because he came up with a really, nice, even concept. I like.
Yeah, I like
love
the simplicity of it, for sure.
It's simple but cute and fun. And actually, dude, if these things actually get mad enough to beak you, they're gonna fuck you up. You put like 4 of these guys against a bunch of level 1 characters, and those guys are dead. They're just trash.
It's just a question of when do they make the decision.
Square. I like. Is there a rule that they can like stay in another creature's square? I think the only creature that has a 0 in its reach is the Rot Grub that I know of.
And I think the reason I would say no on hiding another creature's square is just because like probably makes a lot of noise just staying afloat because hummingbird.
Yeah, I think we'll keep him as it is for now.
Yeah, I think.
And honestly, like a swarm of humlings would be really cool too. But we'll work on those.
Humbling swarm is something we could do someday. That would ruin some people.
The wild magic. Oh dear.
Oh god, I changed my mind. I don't want to do that. I'm afraid of it.
For now, I'm pretty happy with the humbling. So let's
scoot
down to our next concept.
We got the Baraghoul.
Xandaril. Super diggy. Yeah, it looks like all the swarms have 0 range. So Baraghoul is a large, eviscerated, zombie-like creature with tiny wings that feasts upon the very body and soul of a creature. Its entire body is purple in this state, and its horns on its head tend to be crooked and worn. When the creature feeds, its body begins to gorge and grow. The more it eats, the larger and more powerful it gets. When it reaches a certain engorged state, it can vomit back out the contents of its stomach, turning its meals into molten hot liquid akin to that of lava. Oh boy!
I like
Mother, get away!
I was gonna say I like the huge change in pace from the Humbling to the Baraghoul on this one. The complete 180 swing, because the Baraghoul is brutal. Thank you very much, Xandaril, for the submission.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna leave you to keep talking for a moment while I get a spray bottle to keep my cat from destroying my brain.
No problem at all. So the Baraghoul is large, so for starters, we can just say it is a large fiend. Cats are chaotic evil, and sometimes things must be done about them. Let's get by Xandaril in there. And this creature is most decidedly evil. I think it's the most clearly evil thing that we've had so far tonight. And what do you guys think is the particular, what is the morality? Or what's the term? Is it lawful? Is it chaotic? This creature to me seems, if nothing else, I think this creature seems a little bit neutral to me. A neutral evil. It just goes about consuming things down to their very soul. It does not seem like it has a lot of, doesn't seem like it has a lot of purpose to it. Luminarian says lawful, Psychopath says neutral.
I'm the only one who says chaotic.
Yeah, Jeremy says chaotic. Xandaril says just figure what it does what it can to survive. So neutral evil sounds right. So let's go with that for now.
So it's not a devil, but it's not a demon either. It's somewhere in between, which makes it a very, very rare fiend. All right. What's
in that Rakshasa category, which you know I love there. Armor class. I picture this as being somewhere in a kind of a similar range to our first monster that we did.
Shit, Pete. Shiba asking in chat, can we change the doodle's alignment to unaligned?
Done and done. I'm doing it as we speak.
Oh, okay. Pete's already doing it then. Where are we? Baraghoul.
Unaligned. Oh.
What's the CR we're talking about for the Baraghoul, do we think? I don't know. Xandaril, what do you think?
This guy seems fairly strong to me.
5 or 6 range, right?
I was thinking a little bit higher, but I could work either.
I mean, I'm not thinking this is like a CR like 11 or something like super high. But I think this is like a very good challenge for what like a Fable tier attack might, or a Fable tier monster in DnDTime. Maybe we go 7, a little higher than that. So, being a fiend, let's actually look at the Rakshasa stat blocks. And we can see
a devious shape-shifting fiend.
Devious shape-shifting fiend. It's not really immune or resistant to anything in particular besides its special Rakshasa ability. Other similar fiends, like Yugoloths, we look at those guys. and they have very weird resistances to like lightning, fire, cold, bludgeoning. Very common kind of devilish deal. So we want to just give it the classic.
Well, Rakshasas have non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing immunity.
Well, that's their special, though, is what I'm talking about. They got their special deal.
Yeah.
And so we can't really look at them. So Yugolovs would be the neutral fiends, the neutral evil fiends, the kind of comparison here.
Mm.
And they've got or resistances to this. Boop. Cold, fire, lightning, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. I think that's cool.
Works for
Pretty
me.
straightforward. It's like a devilish creature. Fiendish.
Yeah, I think it should have some of that non-magical resistance.
Cool.
Or that's under vulnerabilities right now.
Oh, great call on that. Xanderel saying it should be immune to fire. Oh, yeah, this is not vulnerabilities. We can get rid of vulnerabilities. It doesn't have those.
I got that.
Oh God.
You got it.
I messed something up. All right. So we get rid of vulnerabilities. Now, Xanderel's saying immunity to fire.
I think that's just a done and done.
Yeah, I like that.
Makes sense.
So get rid of that cold resistance and just give it onto that
condition immunities. Are they known for?
I mean, unless they're immune to poison, they're not immune to anything
maybe,
in particular. But most of them are immune to poison.
The only one.
Do we give them immunity to poison?
I think it would do a good job of unifying them. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's only condition immunity is poison.
Yep. Passive perception.
We'll get.
Go up and do some stats.
Control Z to the rescue. Precisely the flannel fight. That's our hero.
I was gonna say for starters, I think Constitution is where it's going to be its strongest stat.
Yeah, I agree. Strength and Constitution, I think, are it's going to be its biggest.
Yep, I'm on the same page.
I think its Dex is going to be objectively bad at like a 6. Because there's a big. Its whole thing is this thing is a flesh monster, for lack of a better term. Constitution we've got in there. What are we going to put Con at? This is a CR 6 creature. I think we can go up to like anything 18. As high as like a 17 or 18 pretty reasonably.
I was thinking an 18.
Oh boy, I messed that up.
If you're cool with giving him that +4.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the con. The question is then where does his strength get put in? I think I don't give him an 18 there too.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to do both.
Yeah.
Intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. I imagine charisma is its decided weak point.
Yeah, and I think its intelligence is also pretty weak, but I think its wisdom is pretty average at like a 10.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we look at just dual 7s and a 10.
Dual 7s and a 10 is all I've ever dreamed.
So I'm happy with this guy right now. Oh, we got a plus minus. I want to do that.
Yes.
Oh, I did
plus or minus 2. That was the square root of
OP.
That's the square root of 4.
Let's see. I think he's got a fly speed, and I don't think it's got a swim speed or a burst. Because he has tiny little wings. I think his tiny wings give him like a 10-foot fly speed. So it can fly, but it's
That's
slow.
Funny. I just like the flavor of that, too.
And then we give it a 30-foot walking speed. Or maybe we give it like a 40-foot walking speed. We actually make it pretty quick.
I was thinking the other way. I was thinking maybe like a 25 because it's... Or I guess it needs a 30 just to be competitive.
Yeah.
Because it's like decidedly...
Any monster that's slower than a player character, it's rough.
Yeah.
You have to use it in very situational circumstances. I like the idea that this big, kind of fat, heaving creature is actually, like, fast. Just disproportionately quick.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with it.
I think it's cool.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Its charisma is abyssal. Or abysmal. All right, so maybe we dump that charisma down to, like, a 3. I guess that makes sense, right? It's pretty...
It doesn't seem like something that one would like. And maybe that's its weak point. I don't know if we want to give it Cha saves. What do a lot of the comparable fiends have?
They don't. Most of these neutral fiends don't really have much of anything. If they do have saves, they're usually the intelligence saves, but those are Yugoslav specifically. Excuse me. I don't think he needs anything. I don't think it needs any saving throws.
Works for me.
Maybe strength, just to represent it like it cannot be pushed or moved.
That works.
So I like giving it the 1. And then, of course, it's CR7. It's going to be a +3 proficiency bonus, puts it
At 7. Skills. I don't think
None.
this thing has skills.
We already have its damages.
Senses. Passive perception of 10.
10. Languages. It speaks Abyssal and Infernal, probably. Or does it speak anything?
I think it probably
speaks
this? Well,
it's
one
got
or
an
the
int
other.
of 7. Yeah, I think this thing is more likely to speak Abyssal than Infernal. I think this thing is more demonic than devilish. Honestly, I could even call this thing.
Xanderil says it does not speak.
Does not speak? Yeah. All right. But it can understand Abyssal. I get that, right? So this thing is like a demon-adjacent creature. It's been warped and distorted by the Abyss, but it is not of the Abyss. I dig that. Maybe some creature in Gehenna or somewhere, one of those are lower lanes.
Understands.
Abyssal, but cannot.
Abyssal, but cannot.
All right.
Speak.
So,
Does it speak or speak it?
Cannot speak. I think. Pretty certain it's cannot speak.
Yeah, I mean. All right, so let's look back at what this thing does.
Oh no, it is speak it. Correct. Yep, I got it.
Great. So one of the core things, I think before we get into features, unless there are some things that all kind of fiendish things have, I don't know if we want to give it like something along the lines of a magic resistance. I don't necessarily.
No, I don't think it needs magic resistance, but I think what this creature has. Boop, if I get rid of those other things, let me put a space in down there. I think this creature has a swallow feature.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to start with as well, because I think that's going to be its core move.
Yeah, so I think it's got a bite for certain. And it also has a swallow, but then it needs something else to do. Why else would it ever use swallow if it's not using bite? Yeah, why would it use bite alone if it wouldn't also use the swallow feature, I guess?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess if it's already grappled, it swallows, because it has to, right, okay. Never mind, my brain is just, right now.
All good, all good.
Does it have any other attacks besides bite and claw?
Well, it also is going to have a breath weapon, I think.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
And I think its breath weapon
automatically recharges on the swallow or something.
Well, the more it eats, the larger, more powerful it gets. When it reaches a certain engorged state, it can then vomit back out the contents of its stomach, turning its meals into molten hot liquid akin to that of lava. I don't know if we want to put a recharge on this. I think we maybe just make some kind of I was thinking we might just make some kind of thing for its engorged state, and how its kind of size affects it. It has to be a certain size to use its ability.
Oh.
Because I think that's a lot of the point.
A little complicated.
I think it might be a little bit tricky, but it also seems like it's very much kind of the point of the creature. It seems kind of core to the idea
but I
here.
feel like there might be a better way to do it, though, right?
Maybe, but I think it needs to be represented in some way.
So
it has to be, or it has to have eaten something and have something in its belly in order to use its vomit.
So what if we give it a swallow and we call its other thing regurgitate?
So you think it just eats something and then spits out a swallowed creature?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe it's it can use it. Maybe the regurgitates. How can it use it? Can it just always use it if it swallowed a creature?
Yeah, and I guess the other question is, it seems like it. And this is the thing that was throwing me off a bit, was that it seems like it turns the thing into molten hot lava, is the way the Baragul reads. So it implies that you would need to like kill the creature in order for that to work, which probably won't happen in most fights against it if it's just player characters, or you're just planning on killing lots of player characters. So it'd have to have something to like eat.
Yeah, I think
that's what makes it a little bit tricky to make work.
Well, here, it's hard to kind of to think about this kind of stuff, right? Because if we make it if we make it the thing where it has to kill a creature, that works. We can do that, but then this creature becomes a very win more style monster.
Yes.
Where it eats a creature, the character dies, and now this thing does a whole bunch of damage to everyone else. So
yes, which I don't like that either.
Can be okay, but you got to be very, very careful. And I think with what we want to do with Regurgitate, that's not quite gonna fly.
So Xanderil says it usually walks around in packs of smaller demons and devils that it protects and uses as a food source.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you could give it something like a thing that we both love, the Goblin Captain.
What do you mean?
The Goblin Captain, which as a reaction puts goblins in front of itself and makes them take attack rolls. Maybe it just picks up like an imp or whatever lesser demon that is next to it.
A lesser creature.
And then or it could be any creature, but we just kind of specify that it rolls around with packs of things like this. So it's not so it's clearer that the use case is. I don't know. I just think
the issue I'm running into, right, is we're talking about stat block for a creature, not like a monster manual page entry.
Yeah, that's what I was.
If we were talking about a monster manual page entry, we could roll with that, and that would work. I guess the real thing I'm getting caught up on is how we're going to handle the regurgitate swallow aspect, because that's really what it's coming down to is, do we want the regurgitate to only be usable after it's swallowed a creature, or do we want it to be something on a recharge where then like killing a creature, or swallowing a creature recharges? The real hang up I think that we're running into is that the creature has to die once it's been eaten. But honestly, I think just taking damage works, right?
I mean, I agree in that regard. It's just it's just a tricky spot. I was hoping to try and get more of that original thought behind it in there, but it might just be a little bit too tough to work in this context.
I think it's mostly there. It eats things, it spits the things backs out. It spits the stuff back out, and that
one of the things was it spits them back out as lava that it has turned them into. Was one of the things. I think a creature taking damage inside of its stomach allows it to regurgitate. Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah, I think that should be fine. I think we're getting a little too hung up with the semantics of it. So I guess it can only swallow a creature it's grappling, right? And its bite attack got to grapple.
Yep.
So that'll give it a +7 to hit. Reach is going to be 5 feet. Can it bite more than one creature in a turn? Maybe its multi-attack is just it makes multiple bite attacks. Bites are generally like, I don't know, maybe a D10 seems pretty reasonable for that. It's going to be 2 D10 because it's a large creature, +4. It's going to be an average of 14 damage or 15 damage because piercing. So I'm going to steal some text in the Tarask for this bite. If the target is a creature, it is grappled until the grapple ends. The target is restrained, and the Baragul can't bite another target. Escape DC is going to be 14. Looks like.
And we probably want to put a size restriction on that.
Yeah, it's large or smaller. Oh, right.
Yeah, well, this creature is large. We want to make him huge.
Oh. Yeah, let's make him huge.
Why not?
If targets a creature of size large or smaller, it is grappled. There we go. So it bites, it swallows, and actually that would make its damage go up slightly more. Okay. And then grappling, so it swallow, or this is swallow feature. Let me just steal some more text from the terrace. If the attack hits, the target takes a bite's damage, and it is swallowed. And the grapple ends. While swallowed, the creature is blinded and restrained as total cover against attacks and other effects inside of the Baragul. And it takes probably not 15. Probably not that much damage. What's a good number here? Maybe 6 D6?
Yeah, 66, and it would be fire, I think, not acid damage.
Yeah, I agree. Fire damage is starting each of
the Baragul
turns. And then regurgitate. Oh, and we actually have to add an effect that allows the creature to get out if it is swallowed. Oops. If the Baragul takes how much damage in a single turn?
Well, we have to decide on its hit points in order to kind of have the frame of reference for that. So do you want to do that now? Go back and do AC and HP. Hit dice is going to be a D12. Exciting. Is this the first huge guy we've done?
Maybe. I think so.
Armor class, I imagine he has a thick hide, natural armor, but nothing crazy. I would be okay with maybe a 14. He's also kind of slow.
I see that. Not a super tough boy.
Nah.
Oh, 66 would be 21. Correct. I'm bad at math. Thank you. Yes. You've forgotten one in the chat. Contact, I think, and have to.
Hit points. I imagine this guy has actually a pretty good amount of hit points. Maybe.
Yeah, I think this guy's got a bunch of AP.
Because he's got that con score. I'm gonna throw out as a random number 163.
For a CR7, yeah, I think that's not a bad number for something like this.
Yeah.
Especially with its resistances, that's going to be pretty huge. It might even be a little high. But we'll stick with that for now. Bite, swallow, and then regurgitate. I don't think it regains HP when killing. Thank you for the follow Mac artwork. Appreciate it.
Oh, hey, thank you very much.
And let's see what we're going to give it for its regurgitate feature. Let's look at a dragon's breath weapon.
For starters, I was just going to grab a breath weapon. Oh, do you got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it does not have a recharge.
Fire.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Recharge. The Baragul starts its turn.
I don't think we need to put it as a recharge. I think we can say.
Yeah, we can just say it in the ability.
In the ability.
The Baragul exhales fire or viscous hot fluid.
Jesus.
In a 60-foot line. Oh god, I think this is like a.
I picture this more coney.
Yeah, maybe like a 30-foot cone.
Let me look at a
cone. Holy shit.
Let me look at a young red dragon. 30-foot cone. Yeah.
30-foot cone.
And
each creature in that area must succeed on a DC. For this DC, we actually use its Constitution score, which is going to be the exact same. It's going to be 10, or it's going to be 11 plus 4.
Oh, nasty.
No, DC 15. And actually, its escape DC up here should be 15 as well. I messed up. Dexterity saving throw, or taking how much damage on a failed save. I think we're just going to look at its same damage before, 66. Right.
I feel like this would be more impactful than like just the
normal inside of it damage.
Yeah, because it's like I imagine it's like a wave of it.
So
I would be
88.
I was going to be inclined to even say like double it, like or maybe like a 10 or something.
I mean, we're getting into some really high challenge rating at that point, though.
Yeah, but I think that's okay.
Well, we're not looking at CR7 anymore. We're looking at way higher.
CR like 8 or 9. I mean,
A black
like a
dragon
young red
is
dragon
CR
is
11, and it does 54 with its breast weapon.
Yeah, I was gonna say a red dragon is CR 10, and that does 16d6. So I was thinking 10d6.
A young what? What are you looking at?
Young red dragon is a CR 10, and that does 16d6 with a higher DC. 30
We'll
foot
say
cone.
you cool 12d6.
Yeah, I was even gonna say 10 if you're worried about it, but yeah, 12 works for me.
Whatever. So 36 average, right?
Yeah.
12d6 fire damage on a failed save for half on a success. The Baragul cannot use this ability until a creature until it starts can only use this ability on a turn in which if it starts its turn having swallowed a creature, or starts its turn with a creature inside of it.
With a creature in its belly.
In its stomach. Cool. Sure, whatever.
Good enough.
Good enough. So, I like that. That's terrifying.
Yeah,
I guess this thing isn't that scary. How much health did we say? 163?
Yeah, that was the arbitrary number.
All right. I think we might be a little bit above CR7 with this boy, but we'll come to it eventually.
Well, I think part of the thing that's going to set him low is he just has the one attack, and it's like multiple. It's very conditional. He has to get someone in the belly and then vomit it up. Like, it would take at least...
Yeah, it takes at least... That's a third turn when you get to regurgitate.
Yeah, every third turn at best, it uses regurgitate.
So, yeah, we'll see where this guy actually... Yeah, I wouldn't want to run into that creature either, Xandro, it's funny you mentioned that, because you're the one that's most likely to run into this creature.
No, it's not him. It's the people that he runs games for.
With whatever. Hey, Stillwell, I didn't see you there, bud.
Well, hello.
So I think we're good with the Baragul. I like where this guy came around. He's very scary. I didn't think we were going to have as many higher CR creatures this week, but I guess we ended up with higher CR creatures. Should we look at our next creature, or we're at our last 15 minutes of the show normally?
We have a lot of... We've got
a bunch more beasties. So do we want to try and hit one more and then start going through and checking the actual CRs for these boys?
I was going to
go a little bit over time this week.
Well, I was going to say we also wanted to go through and just mention all the monsters, which is also going to take up time.
Well, I'm okay with going a little later.
Yeah, I can do a little bit later. Sure. Yeah, we can do one more. Let's bang out one more.
All right. Well, our next creature is Ababa. What's up, Pete?
We've got the Sweet Nothing.
A creature created. We didn't actually mark down who this was. I knew who it was created by, though. It's the Forgotten One.
Yes.
Yes, do a part 2. People are asking for part 2s, Pete. Do we want to actually do a part 2 instead? And where we finish up some of these?
And go back through and finish some more of them? Maybe.
What was our plan for talks on Wednesday?
Our plan for talks on Wednesday was, as of yet, undecided. Because of a thing that Psychopath earlier, I was going to recommend to you later that we talk about alignment.
Oh, that's a very good idea.
But if you were, is what you're thinking about just doing more brews on Wednesday?
Well, let's see.
Well, that's something we've also talked a lot about, switching over brews to Wednesday. So I don't know. I think for now we might not want to.
Yeah, let's talk about the rest of the submissions, and then we'll come back to this for now.
Yeah, and we'll see where we have. We'll see where we have space.
So let's scroll down to our list here, down at the very bottom. All right, so our entire list of beasties. We're gonna kind of skip through the ones we've already talked about on the stream. So, Baragul we just went over. The Callgal's Invader Egg, a concept by The Forgotten One, which is a large spider-like construct with an egg-shaped abdomen used by mages. Apparently, it's used to summon creatures, namely devils and celestials and fiends and fae and such, which is just kind of cool. It's a little skittering little beastie that summons a whole bunch of monsters, like a portable summoning portal. Which is
very Dr. Eggman.
It almost feels more like an item than a creature, and the summoning mechanics we thought would be a little too complicated, which is why we haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yes,
but we might get around to it next time. What's our next creature?
Next we have the Dark Mirror. Was a monstrosity created by the Fox in a Box. It appears as inanimate, but when reflecting anything casts a shadow, it will animate the shadow with the same abilities as whatever was reflected, but with the added traits of the shadow monster. So kind of this cool mirror that, there's so many submissions. It's kind of this cool mirror that reflects a dark version of yourself back, which you then would have to battle. We were both kind of thinking that very much in the same way as the Invader Egg, this felt very kind of itemy, maybe like an encounter. I could see a puzzle room or a trap room where all of this is kind of set up. That's the Dark Mirror. Could be pretty rad.
I think the Dark Mirror is almost like an encounter. It's not just a creature. It's the whole encounter and like the room. It's like a puzzle almost.
You would build kind of an entire event around the Dark Mirror, have kind of stat blocks up for what the shadows would be like for your individual players and stuff like that.
Yes, the Flannel Pug, we're going to go through and calculate CRs once we go through the list of all of the entries.
Indeed.
Our next entry, the Candoraz, submitted by the Fox in the Box, which is basically a sweet and sour variant of the Remoraz, or the Remoraz, depending on how you pronounce them. I like this creature a lot. There's a lot of flavor in here with sweet and sour spines doing acid damage and having a jawbreaker attack. I just think it's really cool. I especially like the alluring scent feature. The only thing that I feel would be difficult to do in a stat block is specifically getting that sweet scent allures unsuspecting creatures in. I think in a whole page kind of write up, that would be perfect. I don't know how I do that in mechanics.
Brian Shiba says it has a lot of flavor.
But anyway, I love that creature. I love the Remoraz. It's a personal favorite of mine.
Very good. And next we have the Shattered Friend. The Shattered Friend was created by The Forgotten One. It is a doll-bound whose life ended in phylactery tainted by dark energies, but essentially it would be sort of an undead doll-bound. They would be doing sort of evil things, luring in children, using necrotic magics. Could be pretty interesting. I do like kind of the aesthetic of a child, picking up this doll, and then it's just a shattered friend. It's just this terrible, undead monster, which they never would have expected. So it has that kind of cool disguised aspect for it. That's the Shattered Friend. Could be pretty rad.
We've already talked about the Gloaming Seeker. So the next creature was submitted by Farku, and it is the Buttmonger. I'm not going to talk a lot about the Buttmonger, but basically it is a child's nightmare, worst nightmare. It is like a face hugger, but it hugs your butts to eat your poop.
There was a little bit too much of a human centipede vibe for me on that one.
Yeah, it's a little too wiggity, but it is what it is. Also by Farku, I'm sorry, Pete, did you want to?
Yeah, I got this one. The Super Playbox 64,000 Wii Woo Cube. It is essentially just a video game console that has controller tentacles that latch out with different games, and the idea that you would be putting in different games to summon different things out of it or create different effects that it can do, or it might act differently based on what games are put in. It's kind of a cool concept. There's a lot to kind of unpack there. We kind of thought this one was just there was just so much going on in this; it was too much to get through in one brews. As you've seen, it's very time-consuming to make monsters.
Yeah, it takes a while actually.
But like the Dark Mirror, that one could have been a whole encounter, a whole adventure. Could be the Super Playbox 64,000 Weeble Cube.
Exactly. Next, we have the Dicerons, which looks like this is a combined concept. Max and Farku were chatting about this in the Hangout chat on Discord. But it is a humanoid race of creatures that fit into a caste system based on the shape of their head, which are prisms representing and similar to a D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20, and D100, respectively. What does a D100 head look like? Is it just a big circle? They have regular circle heads? I guess not regular in that case, because you're really, really bloated to make that work.
I don't know. I'm interested in it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. There are actual D100s you can buy. They're weird. They're big.
Yeah, it's just
a big golf ball. Exactly, Bionic Shiva. And basically, they get all sorts of cool magical dice and effects they can use based on what abilities or what heads they have. It could definitely be really cool. It's just, this feels, again, like an adventure rather than something I can just put without context. A couple of these entries fit like that, where it's like, this is an awesome, like, really cool idea, but I need like a whole adventure to tell this story. I can't just make a stat block that kind of shows it. We were kind of teetering on that a little bit with the Baraghoul too, with its horde of other devils and demons it hangs with.
Indeed. So next up, we have the Ursuranians. These were created by Max Meister. They were essentially sort of humanoid bears. And they would just, they'd be basically humanoid bears. It seems kind of like the core of the concept. They don't hibernate as long, he says, and they love honey. Very cute. Could be fun. One of the things we did think about this is it overlapped a little bit with the werebear. I feel like if we were doing an Ursuranian, we would just be making sort of a werebear, but without the ability to turn back into a human. So there would just been not a ton of like actual work for us to do on stream, which is the point. But they could be cool. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, the Earth sign kind of deal is super cool. It's an iconic kind of thought. But anyway,
I want to make a character that's a Pooh Bear Earth sign.
Oh god. Anyway, the next creature is the Stream Lord, humanoid concept by Luminarian. This seems less like a something you can find multiple of, but just a singular entity, which I think is supposed to represent the Twitch chat. A dark purple humanoid in full metallic armor appears as a shimmering light from above as all of the party members begin to cry. All right. And I guess he's got his two hellhound companions. I mean, this sounds like...
I'm sure if that was a Firefox thing or something like that.
I'm not certain, but this sounds like a brutal, like, boss fight. But I'm not sure it was quite... I don't know what I'd do, because I'm not entirely certain what, like, abilities I'd give him. I guess there's just a lot to go off of here. Do I want to make him more of a meme, more like things Twitch chat can do and say? Or do I want to make him more like a massive badass?
Oh, yeah. Also, I mean, either way, the CR on this thing is higher than we have time for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't have time. We were struggling with the CR 8s and 7s. So
yeah. So next up we have John the Rapper. Out of the shadows came a man that is well equipped with baggy pants and a chain on his neck, armed with a microphone and mixtape. John the Rapper is surely a threat to any adventurer's words or weapons, and thus whenever he spits a bar, it deals deeps to anyone that can hear. Pretty good. I liked John the Rapper a lot. That was one I was looking forward to get into. I'm sure there's a lot that we could have done with him. We just didn't have time.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I would have wanted to. Well, one thing about John the Rapper is I feel like I would have wanted to just generalize him a little bit, make him just Rapper or something like that.
I like that name is John, though.
Well, I like that he's John, and I feel like John is like the leader, but I would like to just have one for just any character that could be that. Maybe it's just John. Who knows? Luminary, as I said, I was drunk.
I don't know. I think it would have been wicked cool to make. Anyway, our next creature, the Cult of the Green Sun Park Ranger, a national park ranger, to be specific here. I think that's awesome, actually.
Yeah, it speaks for
I'm
itself.
super down. Like, I mean, the description was Cult of the Green Sun National Park Ranger, which that's all you really needed to say. This was by far 13 in the chat. I dig it. We just didn't have enough time to get to it. I mean,
yep.
And we did a Cult of the Green Sun last week too, which is why we were a little reticent to put it too high on our list today. But yeah, I think he'd have some cool, like, maybe it can conjure like warped birds or other creatures or something. I don't know.
Yeah, agreed. Next up, we have the Hot Cheeto Giant, another one by Luminarion, which would be it says this giant tribe was born of a sugar rush giant with a huge mutation. The first giant was born with red hot Cheetos all over his body, and he often says dangerously cheesy, and it would be a Cheeto-based giant. Could be a lot of fun. I imagine him having, cheesy moves. He makes people cheesy with his giant Cheeto mace. Could be very fun. Yeah, I think it's a pretty straightforward, just a very Cheeto-centric giant. We probably would have used like a hill giant stat block for him, and just whip one right up.
Exactly. I like that one a lot. Like, I might use that in an adventure. I might use a bunch of these in adventures, but Candy Canine, a monstrosity concepted by Farfel. A red and white candy cane dog. You can shoot candy spines. Could have an ability called like Spearmint, a icy fresh breath, which is some kind of breath weapon, or minty fresh. I love this idea. That's all. It's just a cool idea. Unfortunately, we just didn't have enough time to get to him. It's a very straightforward idea. One of the things that a couple people got a little carried away on, I'm sorry to run off on a tangent here. A lot of people used a lot of words. They said a lot. And sometimes it's better to just say as little as possible to get your concept across.
Indeed.
What's the next one?
Yeah, we got the Collectorers. It would be a crawling giant ball of junk that keeps adding stuff to itself, like Katamari Damacy. Could have sea urchin spikes. It can deploy to move it and spike more junk to stick itself to, or maybe it's just really sticky. That's the Collectorer. It would essentially be just a the Katamari Damacy, which is, I love it. I absolutely love. If you have never listened, by the way, to the soundtrack of Katamari Damacy, I tell you right now that you should be listening to it all the time. Do that now, but it's fun. There's a lot we could do with it, I'm sure. That's one we wanted to get to today, but we ended up moving on to it to someone who was here. But Farku, thank you for the submission, and I really like this one.
Oh, that means it's my turn.
That was it. That's all I had.
The Living Doodle we just talked about. So our next one, Michael Verity, Alter, Prince of Chaos. Kind of the antithesis of Max's character, Michael Verity. It's a little too personal for what we were going for here necessarily. It's cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Sure. I like that they have like the anti-hero. It's also a very common kind of motif. It's just something a little too specific, I think, for what we were trying to get across on this.
Indeed. In that case, yes, no, I realized. In that case, the next we have Kiara, the Heaven's Hole. Formerly a leader of a lawful good religious following, this human woman used to have many followers who worshipped her. However, the people became driven to suicide, making her lose her sanity, corrupted by dark and demonic forces. Couple of big demonic demon horns. This was, as Max Meister said, a reference to the Fate series. Max, we prefer in the future if you didn't do ones that were stuff that's already created, because we want to make new stuff for like DnDTime and stuff. That being said,
I'm not familiar with Fate, which like
that also throws us off, as we don't know all these.
I can't help you here.
That being
also,
said, I mean, I think
right where like you're telling a story. Like there's an adventure and a story here that we can't tell with a stat block, right?
Indeed.
The corruption and falling from grace. Oh, it's a cool backstory. Don't get me wrong.
No, I agree 100%. And also, no need to be sorry. It's no worries. It's just a hard thing for us to kind of build out from a monster, from just like a monster creation standpoint. But yeah, I think it could be cool if you
our next
if
one,
you did it upright.
we got real close to getting to, but came just slightly too close, too far.
Oh, we're just...
Sweet Nothing, Elemental by The Forgotten One. I actually really love this creature. It's like almost a mist, almost a sentient cotton candy thing. I love the idea of this unaligned kind of elemental force, right? That is up in the Big Dark Candy Mountains that lures creatures in.
Deep in the mountains.
With its essence, and then kind of like consumes and brings them into the sweetness. Confusing, charming, all while experiencing the sweet bliss of death. Anyway, I just think it's really cool. I can see using this creature in an adventure, very much like the Candoras. I think like this and the Candoras would go perfectly together in an adventure into like the deepest areas of the Rock Candy Mountain, deepest reaches, where only the sweetest creatures can be.
Agreed. Next up, we have the Rolling. It is a small or medium-sized construct that is mostly spherical in shape that moves by rolling. It would have extendable blades. So yeah, I imagine this kind of rolling. I picture it rolling sort of on an axis, such that where the blades are on a separate axis. So as it moves around, the blades kind of stay stationary on the outside, and it just it rolls around, takes people down. It's a construct, so it probably is like a guard bot for some group. Could have been pretty rad, and that was another one by Max. So thank you again.
And the Magnetic Elemental, our final entry by Max Meister.
I really like this
Elemental.
one.
I also did. One of the ones we just didn't end up getting enough time to get to. I mean, most of these we didn't end up getting enough time to get to. It is an electrical elemental made of electricity. Has all sorts of magnetic-based effects that can like push or pull creatures that are wearing metal armor and such. I like that concept. I don't think enough things in 5e take that interaction that is available. And yeah, I just thought this would be a really cool, novel creature to go at, but we just didn't get the time for it. So let's quickly go through, and because some folks are interested, let's try and see how close we were on some of these challenge ratings. So
I'll read, you ask.
Yep, I guess the Gloaming Seeker would be around a 6, PCast to 7. So let's start with the thing. Our desired CR, we're going to say 7. What's its con?
We got a con of 2, or plus 2, sorry, 14.
Thank you. Dex.
14.
Another 14. Hit die. Oh, I'm sorry. Size.
Size is going to be large.
Large. Proficient saving throws.
Intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Cool. We just need a number. Any resistances or immunities?
Non-magical. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing.
Cool. I'm sorry, what's its armor class? 15?
15.
Cool. What's its bonus to hit?
Plus 7.
Cool. And what's its damage per round going to look like? It's going to be
30.
3 attacks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
43.
43. Yeah, pretty high.
And does it have any other in particular traits that would affect its CR? Echolocation doesn't. Gloam Guardian doesn't. Nothing else.
The Frightful Echoes.
But are those going to be impactful in combat?
You see, this is the thing I was talking about, where I was saying that I think it's actually a 7, but the thing will put it at a 6. Or I'm saying that the Frightful Echoes, when it uses at the start, the creatures that don't run away, it will single out because those creatures.
Yeah. So let's look at Frightful Presence here.
I don't know how to necessarily value that.
Well, it's interesting. They actually have it in there. It's a hit point modifier. 25% bonus hit points, effectively. And that brings it to a 5.8. Oh, I'm sorry. Trait modifier. Oh, whoopsies.
Well, I was going to say, I still think this is...
CR7. 7.3. Pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
All right. So, because I mean that its Frightful Fear thing is basically Frightful Presence. It's not much different. So, CR7 creature right here. Bada boom. I don't know what the XP value is for it, but pretty spot on. Well done, Pete and Jeremy. We came up with the right thing.
Oh, okay. I was actually... Never mind. Sorry, go on. We can just go.
Shit, actually, its hit points are incorrect. How many did we say? 131?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd put it around 18. So it'd actually have 135. And it'd be 18 D10.
8d10
And that would put it at
plus
a
36.
CR 10, actually, according to this.
Wait, for the extra 4 hit points?
No. Because I didn't put the hit points in. I didn't calculate it correctly.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, but the intelligence saving throw doesn't really count. So that should really only be 1 to 2, 0 to 2. Because nothing uses intelligence. So CR8 is where it comes to. 8 points.
Yeah.
Cool. No, we're actually CR8 here. Pretty good. Shrug emoji. Still terrifying. It's pretty close to what you wanted. Flannel Puck, I'm glad it is. We tried.
Yeah,
we
awesome.
did. I also really like this creature. I'm probably going to use this in a game. Almost certainly now that we've built it.
Yeah.
Living Doodle. We put this guy at CR4. What are we looking at for his dex?
We're going to be looking at 19.
19. Constitution.
11.
Cool. He's a medium creature.
That is
How many
correct.
hit points?
80.
80. Perfect. How many saving throws? 0 to 2?
0.
All right. Resistances?
None. Vulnerabilities, yes. 2. Very big ones.
Cool. Armor class?
It actually has 1 relevant immunity. Damage immunity.
What is it?
Armor class is 14, and the damage immunity is poison. It also has psychic, but that's irrelevant.
Okay. Armor class is 14?
Yes.
All right. Damage per round? That's what we gotta figure out. What's its bonus to hit?
Its bonus to hit is +6.
+6. Cool. So it's damage per round. That's where we get a little funky with this boy. So every turn, we're going to assume that he doesn't lose any arms, because that's his best scenario.
So we're starting off at 8 arms. So that means
it
it's
starts
going
with 8?
Or I'm assuming the maximum that you can do.
No, we started with 2, right? Doesn't he start with 2?
Well, I assume that there's nothing stopping him. It says at the start of the Doodle's turn, it draws an additional arm for itself. And
oh, shit. So he starts with 8 arms.
That's why I gave him a maximum.
Oh, my God.
That's why I was saying the maximum.
I think he starts with 2 arms. If he starts with 8 arms, this thing is not... Oh, my God.
Well, that's why I was saying it was 1. That's why I was saying 1 damage for the knockoff arms. That's why I think that was where our dissonance was.
Oh my God! Yeah, well, expected combat, but actually, you got this.
Yeah, if we want to change it,
the Doodle starts with 2 arms at the start of the Doodle's turn. All right, holy shit. Okay, that would have been scary.
That's why we were so dissonant on that before.
So he's going to do 12 damage in the first round. He's going to gain 2 more arms in the next round, so 24 in this next round, and then 36 in the third round, right?
Assuming no arms, but I think that's
72.
Good enough.
Cool. So 72 divided by 3, bap. It's going to be an average of 24 damage a round, which I should have just known looking at those numbers. Any particular traits that would affect him?
No, I don't think we need to put a maximum of arms on him then.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
Just take it off. I was just saying for reference.
So he effectively starts with 3 arms. Oh, that's a great point. He starts with 4 arms, Pete, because he starts with 2, but then at the start of his turn, he gets 2 arms. Well, he starts with 3 arms.
Or he starts with 3 arms. Yeah. So he starts with 3.
Okay, so he starts with 3. So his damage is actually up by 6. It should be 6 higher than it is. So that should be 30. And that puts his total CR to 3.8.
Pretty good.
Bada boom, Pete and I are getting good at this, boys. Thank you, Farful, the correction that he starts with 3 arms. All right, our Doodle is good. The game says this is a very balanced encounter for a level 4 character.
Well,
anyway, so
glass cannon, yeah, for sure. It's a glass cannon, 100%.
Let's move on. We didn't do the collectors because Farku wasn't here at the time. The humbling. I don't think we need to balance this guy. He's a CR 1/2. Oh, yeah. Actually, he's way stronger than that. Holy shit. What is he? We're saying it's his CR is 1/2.
Yeah, but he dies so easy.
Dude,
Or he has avoidance.
and he does a ton of damage.
Yeah, not
Okay,
as easy to kill as he seems.
Yeah, what's so Constitution is gonna be what? It's gonna be 7, so it doesn't matter. Well, we'll give him a 10 because we're not taking the minus, whatever. He's got 3 hit die, we're saying. Let's put him at sorry. Dumb. Cool. So he's got 4 hit points according to this.
Max Meixer says, next time we do these, I promise you, no more Fate references with my pinky finger.
Oh, thank you, Max.
Hey, Max, thanks. It's not even because we don't like the face references. We just can't get them. So we can't be in on the joke with you. Yeah.
What's the CR? 16, and then it's bonus to hits plus, what, 8?
Bonus to hit is 8, yeah.
But 7 DPR, which is not a lot. And is that all we got for him? He's got avoidance, which is effectively
mischief is, I think, negated.
It's not a I don't think that is affecting his challenge rating at all. So CR of 2.8 according to this. That's an interesting point because this thing does not work. This bot or calculator does not work very well with very low CRs. If you put a goblin in here, it comes out to CR2, which just So it doesn't work.
I think goblins are better than they say, but I know I'm kind of feel pretty okay with the 1/2.
Yeah, I'm not too scared because the way this creature is going to be played is it doesn't use its bite if it can't. So, I don't know. I like it. I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm totally wrong. This will murder player characters.
And I mean, like, your ranger is just gonna hit it and it's gonna die. Large groups, maybe.
It's hard to figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Agreed.
It's good.
And last but not least, the Baraghoul.
What's its the CR? Do we say 7?
We wagered at 7. I think it's actually going to be a little bit lower, but we'll see.
I don't think so. 19 con. What's its dex?
Its dexterity is going to be 6.
6. Delighted full. It's huge. And how much health did we say?
163.
Cool. We're actually going to have that guy at 168, but that's fine. How many saves?
Just so I can write down, what's the hit dice on that then? How many hit dice?
16. And that'll put it at 168.
16d12. Great. Sorry, what was the last question? 1 save.
1 save, doesn't matter. All right, resistances, immunities, vulnerabilities, anything like that?
It has resistance to cold, lightning, and then bludgeoning and piercing and slashing from non-magical.
Oh, I see. I had made a mistake. When we were doing the humbling, I gave it immunities and vulnerabilities. Silly me. Forgot to clear those. Sorry, resistances?
Yes.
Okay.
Max is 2, right?
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't have resistance.
It also has
immunity. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm forgetting about those. Yeah, that's going to bump
So the way that works, basically, is because it has immunities, we're going to ignore its resistances and just use the immunity effect.
Cool.
Actual armor class?
14.
14. Damage per round?
Well, to hit is +7, and then damage to round is going to be...
So basically, it's going to get... over 3 turns, 20, 40... 61, and then 42 times 2, because we're going to assume that AoE hits 2 characters.
84.
So 61 plus 84. 145, divide that by 3. It's going to be 48 damage per round average. Any traits that are meaningful?
No.
Cool. 0 trait bonuses. And if we scroll up, its actual CR is 10. All right.
Yeah. I think that's overvaluing the damage per round.
Well,
but
the
it's
big thing
it's defensively a monster.
Oh, actually, there's Swallow is actually a mechanic in here. Swallow is a feature we have to look at, I think. Because Swallow is an interesting effect. There's a lot of ways to counteract it. So, yeah, because we don't have an effect in here, I forgot to put it in for Swallow. And you can look it up in the monster manual to see the actual effects. Its DPR realistically is a little lower than that. I mean, even if we look at it at like, how much did we say for the 84? Most of its damage is coming from that regurgitate. So if that takes an extra round, we're looking at
Yeah, the reason why I'm thinking the regurgitate, because it takes,
Yeah.
if it fails
Maybe-
one aspect of it, it makes it reset back to the beginning. Which is why I just think, and that's not a thing we can really calculate, but
Yeah, and then it'd be an extra 20. Divide that by 4. So really, it'd be looking at like 40 or 42 damage. Regardless, its actual CR is somewhere around 8 or 9.
yeah, a
Whatever,
little bit higher
not too
than we shot. Yeah, pretty reasonable.
I'm okay with that. I think it's because we
Final
gave
tug.
you
I
so
want
much
to see all
health.
our monsters battle. The Humbling will obviously win by flying up out of the range of all the other monsters.
Yep, and then
Uh,
shooting wild magic till they die, or just use one wild magic surge and kill them all.
Yeah, just wild magic until they die. Humbling wins that fight every time.
So our Barracool actually looks at he's coming out around 9. I think what happened, Pete, is we undervalued how much effective health those resistances.
Yeah, I was realizing that as I was looking at it. Those are
Yeah.
pretty beefy.
But yeah, still
you
not
threw
too
them on
bad.
there very casually, but that's a lot of resistances.
The bright
Two
side
important
here
stuff.
is CR9 actually bumps its proficiency bonus up too, which then makes everything else stronger. See, that's a really interesting point there. This creature is actually quite a bit more powerful than it seems. Well, maybe not, because that just bumps up its attack bonus, really. Which, yeah, it's still CR9. All right, so yeah, it's CR9. It's just the attack is 1 higher than it was, which I think you just did, right? And
Mhm.
save is 1 higher. So, nice and simple, nice and easy. Easy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty tired. How you doing, Pete?
I'm ready to call it a night.
Yeah, I think these streams are a lot better when we take breaks. But sometimes you do what you got to do.
Yeah, we had a lot to get through tonight, and I'm glad we did.
I am as well. It's unfortunate we couldn't get through everything, but maybe we'll take another shot at this. We'll see. Luminarian asked for that 24-hour stream. I don't think we're gonna do 24
starting now, Jeremy.
today.
Let's go.
No,
Let's go.
Work in the morning, Pete.
Fight.
But anyway, thank you everyone for coming and hanging out with us tonight, for helping us brew up some fun monsters to murder all of our player characters in next week's episode of Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't. I'm sorry I didn't chug Luminarian. I didn't chug. You know what, Luminarian? Just for you, I'll chug this. What's left of this? A glass of water.
That's all you get from me. You get a slurp.
You've seen it here first, folks.
Holy shit, Pete! You're a baller.
What? Oh. And.
What would we even do for 24 hours?
24
I don't know
stream.
what the fuck we'd do for. I mean, we played D&D for what, like 8 hours
for 24 hours.
And oh my god! All right, guys, we're just gonna marathon like an adventure. We're gonna pick like the Curse of Strahd and complete Curse of Strahd in 24 hours. Let's go! Woo!
Strahd has, I imagine it's like a Mission Impossible version of Strahd, where it's like, Strahd has armed nuclear weapons around the world. You have 24 hours to...
Would only be still 24 hours of kobold discussion. Do we have to do it in a kobold voice?
Because that's the only way I'd be willing to do it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Chat, you would also have to be talking at your computer screen in a kobold voice, which, if you're not familiar with a kobold voice, basically it has to be as annoying as you can possibly make.
24 hours of brews. I feel like if we did a 24-hour brews, we could make a class.
If we did a 24-hour brew, I would die.
Yeah. This is almost... what do you find more mentally taxing, Jeremy, out of curiosity? Does brews take more of your mental energy, or does Pete and Jeremy's D&D time take more?
Oh, brews. Well, it's weird because I'm feeling really good right now. And like while I'm on the stream, I'm feeling great in either case. It's just once I'm done, I want to die. I'm just so exhausted. I'm just like, I want to lie down. I'll curl up on the floor next to my cat, who is not screaming at me for dinner, which is weird. He's 20 minutes late for his dinner and he's not mad, which is concerning, actually, a little bit. Not really, though. He's probably asleep somewhere.
Anyway, thank you all very much for watching and hanging out and making some monsters with us. You guys are very creative. There were some awesome monster submissions, which we really appreciate all y'all doing. That's it.
Yeah.
I love you all.
We love you guys. Stay tuned. Wait, don't stay tuned. Well, stay tuned for whatever. We're hosting someone probably. And after that, go to bed and then wake up, and then Monday happens, and let Monday happen. And then, I don't know what happens on Tuesday, but Tuesday happens. And then on Wednesday, Pete and I stream yet again for DnDTime Talks, where we'll be discussing alignment. So stay tuned.
A little bit of alignment. I'm Pete.
Stay tuned throughout the entirety of the next week up till Wednesday.
Bionic Shiva, Tuesday is D&D Worlds, right? I'm gonna go. I was originally saying, am I gonna do
every other week? Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say either every other week or once a month, but I'm gonna say every other week. I've committed.
Put it on the schedule as every other week.
Well, no, I decided on every other week when you put it on the schedule. So I've decided on every other week for that. So it'll be not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday following.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. And if you were interested in Worlds and you did that, don't forget to look at the spreadsheet and make suggestions about what we did last week and help me clean up language and stuff. Because I don't know if I'll have time to do too much detail on making that look nice. So
aloha to you as well, Maddie Morgs. Unfortunately, we are
Maddie.
Literally just ending. So
yes, this is our
aloha
final
also means goodbye, I think. So aloha.
Oh wow, aloha.
Alola? It's Alola. I don't know what Alola means. Is that aloha?
And now
I don't know.
I did it early last time, but I'm Pete.
And I'm Jeremy.
And this is DnDTime Brews.
Thanks for hanging out,
I'm so close to doing it wrong.